as this used to be a Lutheran church, now it's an Islamic mosque.
Do you think that Islam is compatible with Western civilization?
No.
How have you seen the rise of Islam here in this area?
Islam is safe. Islam's on the rise here. I do know Christianity, including our denomination here in St. Cloud, is not growing. It's actually declining. It's actually declining.
It is no secret that Christianity is in decline in the United States. Churches are being sold. Sunday services are increasingly empty. Even the baristas at roadside coffee shops have more customers than the churches. Interestingly, however, while churches are being abandoned, mosques are flourishing. Not just in numbers, but also in faith. After June 24, Zohran Mamdani, a progressive Muslim, was chosen as a mayoral candidate for New York City, and now all eyes are on Minneapolis. Omar Fateh, a former Muslim senator from Minnesota, has recently been endorsed by the Democratic Party, RDFL, to run for mayor of Minneapolis. This is the moment when Omar Fateh couldn't hold back his emotions, whether it was due to emotion, joy, or the weight of the responsibility when his name appeared on the ballot.
Okay, if you can lower your back. Omar Fateh had more than 60%.
Hawanti, Buslata, Hayatio, Melakore, Hayank, Quebecsago,
But this summer, you're going to be seeing a lot more of me because we deserve nice things in Minneapolis too. To make an affordable Minneapolis that works for everyone, we need a mayor that works as hard as you do.
The selection of Muslim mayoral candidates in 2 consecutive moments has certainly caused a stir on the internet. Not only local media, but even Israeli media joined in, as if something were disrupting the stability of the global narrative. Interestingly, these 2 pro-Zionist commentators were like a house on fire. So panicked were they that they claimed America would soon be taken over by Islam. Why such fear of Islam?
We're seeing in New York a broader takeover of the West by Islam. And I said something yesterday. I said, look, it doesn't feel right or seem right that the West is quickly being taken over. Both London and New York are going to have Muslim mayors and having third world immigration that has made that possible. And so what further about Islam do you wish or want Westerners to know about? Do you think that Islam is compatible with Western civilization?
The short answer, no. And I'll mention one other thing. Many of your viewers may not know this. Since 9/11 alone, Charlie, so that's 24 years, there have been 47,000 plus terror attacks committed by Islamic terrorists in nearly 70 countries. And now there are multiple databases that you can use to prove that this number is correct. 47,000 terror attacks. So that should give you a sense of whether Islam is compatible with the West or not.
Is Islam compatible with the West? An intriguing question, though it might also be considered absurd. Because if we're honest, what's incompatible with the West today is the West itself. Western civilization claims to love peace, yet it's the largest producer of weapons. Western civilization talks about morality, yet the pornography industry is legalized and celebrated. Western civilization screams about freedom of thought, but a Muslim woman wearing a hijab is seen as a threat. And this was boldly addressed by Omar Fateh in front of the First Lady of the United States some time ago.
We heard them being called terrorists. We heard them being called drug dealers. We heard a lot of insults. We heard that they're a threat to our national security. And that's a flat-out lie. You want to know who the real threat is, Madam President? I'll give you a hint. They don't look like our chief author. They don't look like the folks up in the gallery. They don't look like the folks out in the rotunda. They look like many of the members that sit in the front. And you don't have to take my word for it. According to DHS, Madam President, the greatest domestic threat facing the United States comes from, quote, racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists, specifically those who advocate for the superiority of the white race, not our immigrants. We are safer and we're better off because of them.
Islam is known as a bringer of peace. That is the true meaning of Rahmatan lil Alamin, as emphasized in the Quran, and those who acknowledge this are not only Muslims themselves, but also many non-Muslims there who have seen it with their own eyes and felt it.
The food is good, it's the best food around, and these guys, they treat New York right. These guys come out here and they show their faith, and they feeding the people. But listen, these people are good people, they're wonderful people. They come out here, they make sure people is not hungry, and that's a blessing.
Interestingly, while those spreading Islamophobia are busy accusing Islam of taking over the West, this American man instead refers to it as the rise of Islam in the West and attempts to interview people in Minneapolis, the city of Muslim mayoral candidate Omar Fateh. Despite facing some threats, he successfully completes his mission.
The rise of Islam is real here in the United States. It's the fastest growing religion across America. This is one of the many Islamic centers here. This is a mosque here, but something that's super interesting about this mosque right here, it actually used to be a Lutheran church. You can see right here on the backdrop of this wall right here, this used to be a Lutheran church. So that just shows how much of the population has shifted from Christian to Muslim as far as the people in the population here inside of this town, as this used to be a Lutheran church. Now it's an Islamic mosque. And how do you feel about the rise of Islam here in the United States?
I don't really know too much personally. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I don't know too much about Islam. I'm all for it, like what anybody wants to be with their religion and what they want to do. But I don't know too much about it. I just know it's real powerful here in Minnesota.
After a few interviews, somebody came up to us angry because we were asking people about the rise of Islam inside this community. My name is Dick Shirley.
What are you doing?
My name is Dick Shirley. I'm a YouTuber. We're doing a video on the rise of Islam here in the United States.
The rise of Islam.
Yeah, it's the number one converting religion.
The rise of Islam. Make it make sense for me.
Yeah, it's number one. It's the number one converting religion in the United States, so we're doing a top subject on it.
The number one converting religion in the United States.
It's like the number one growing religion. So
wait, isn't it after Christ?
What?
Isn't it after Christ?
This guy wouldn't show his face on camera, and this conversation kept going for a few minutes, and he demanded that we deleted the footage of the interviews that we took here on the street. I said no, and he said, you better go, and we're going to make sure you leave. I've never been in a situation like that while I've been filming, where somebody comes out of nowhere and wants to take the footage. And right now, he said, you better leave, and we're going to make sure you get out of here. So right now, there is somebody following from behind, making sure that we get out of this place. Not the most friendly welcome here into this part of Minnesota. So we headed to the next city to see more about the rise of Islam. Right here, we're in between the Islamic Center and the Presbyterian Church. Do you see more kids here on college campus converting to Christianity or to Islam here?
Honestly, I don't really see them converting much either way. I also don't get out too much.
And do you see the rise of Islam here inside of St. Cloud?
I do see a rise of it, yeah.
And how do you feel about that?
I like multiculturalism, you know, if everyone's the same, that's fucking boring.
Do you see more people here converting to Islam or to Christianity?
Just anecdotally, I'd say that Islam's on the rise here. I do know Christianity, including our denomination here in St. Cloud, is not growing. It's actually declining.
How have you seen the rise of Islam here in this area?
It's a big rise.
And why do you think Islam is on the rise here in the United States?
Because of a lot of Somalians come here from East Africa. And so they come here to practice Islam because it's safe.
And this is the reality that cannot be silenced by propaganda. While churches are being sold cheaply and pews are empty, mosques are increasing in number, and Muslim names are beginning to appear on lists of potential city leaders. And Islamophobes are trembling while shouting, Islam is taking over the West as if it were a curse. But this is the revival. Is this a sign of the arrival of an era where Islam shines from east to west? Click subscribe if you believe that Islam is not only surviving but continuing to rise across the globe.